Peace, love, and light, and welcome to a Black History Minute with Dark Skinned Ja. And today's subject of Black History Minute will be the Jamaican Maroons. All right, the Jamaican Maroons during the time of slavery, when you know what? Before we even get into that, I'm Jamaican, and growing up, in New York, people always said that Jamaicans and Haitians was super wild because they couldn't be tamed, and I never really knew what that meant until I got older. And the history of Haiti, of course, they're the first black country in the whole Western Hemisphere that was enslaved to not negotiate, not ask, not beg, not shuffle for their freedom, but demanded by taking up arms, and they went to war with France, the strongest army at the time. Napoleon defeated their army and gained their independence. That's why Haiti's so hated on today. Now, the Jamaican Maroons, similarly to Haiti's revolutionaries, shout out to San Lel Vature, when they were bought, when the people from the Igbo tribe and some other tribes, I gotta go back, were brought to Jamaica, immediately they jumped off the boat and started fighting and ran up to the mountains. And these particular slaves, Maroons, which is actually short for the Spanish word cimarron, which means escaped slave or wild animal. Escape actually means wild animal, escaped animal. And the reason why the slaves were named that were obvious, but Spain also had its hand in the conquest of Jamaica back in the era of the Arawak Indians during the 1500s, around the time where Columbus was doing his thing. So that whole little Caribbean section, Hispaniola, it was really ran by the Spanish first, and then Christopher Columbus came. The British took it from Spain, like in the 1600s. So these Maroons, these slaves, they would run up to the mountains and reside there until even Spanish conquestors, English army men in their red coats would come up to the islands and try to invade and conquest these slaves. But these slaves were so adept in the wilderness and adept in living off the natural land coming from Africa that they had advantage over these British soldiers. So the British soldiers would come through, and they would be subject to guerrilla warfare. They would be subject to voodoo, and they would be subject to the leader who commanded these soldiers by the name of Granny Nanny. Granny Nanny used to train these soldiers in the guerrilla warfare, voodoo, and other techniques to ward off their enemies. British soldiers would try to invade these Jamaican Blue Mountains, and they would inhale a boiling pot of some sort of substance, starting to get into a psychological trance, hallucinate, and then die. And what's crazy about Granny Nanny, she always let one soldier survive, so he would go back and tell the horrors of what the other soldiers experienced. So check your DNA. A lot of us, they want to force, we were all slaves down our throat. Not all of us were slaves, and some of us who were slaves were very, very rebellious, formed rebellions and tried to escape. Nat Turner took up arms and killed every white person in a something span in order to protect himself and his family. Killed his own slave master and all the other slave masters within like a 60-mile radius. Something crazy to do in the 1800s. So a lot of us have that in our DNA, and once you realize who you are, your DNA is going to be activated. and you're going to be able to accomplish anything you want to do in this land. And when I say this land, I mean this entire world, because the land isn't limited to the United States of America. You can do anything you want, and can't nobody stop you, because you got king blood in your DNA. You got rebellion in your DNA. You got, I'm not going to take no bullshit. 2020, ladies and gentlemen, the vision is getting clearer. A lot of us are starting to get more and more quote unquote woke, just like, you know, the year says. So with that being said, I'm signing off. Peace, love, and light, and I'll catch y'all next time. One love.